Welcome to Off the Wall. My name is Trey. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out the show this week. We've got a fun one for you as usual. We've got wide receiver Quian Williams on the program to talk about his football journey. He's the Triple Crown winner from the 2025 season, meaning he led the league in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. He's a dynamic kick returner, and we get to dive into his football journey and hear from the man himself about what's ahead for 2026 and what has him excited about this Steamwheelers team. We'll also dive into some results from this past weekend, including some NAL and IFL action. But before we do any of that, social plugs. That's right. If you don't already, please make sure you're following us on all of our socials at Off the Wall FB, F as in foot, B as in ball, Off the Wall FB. We're on Instagram, X/Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook as well. So if you're on any of those platforms, you don't follow us already, come join the conversation. Come join the fun and give us a follow. It would be much appreciated. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you're liking the video, commenting, and subscribing to the channel as well. Call to action for this week. What was your biggest takeaway from last week? From week 2 action, we had San Diego, Northern Arizona, Iowa, New Mexico, and Orlando make their season debuts. What were your biggest takeaways from the teams that made their debut? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Interested to hear what you got to say. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, thank you for doing that as well. Please make sure you're rating the show 5 stars, preferably. Hey, I trust you. Between you and me, though, we know it's a 5 stars. Come on, let's be real. Liking, sharing it with a friend, all that stuff. Off the Wall FB, we'll get in the blog, weekly blogs, what we learned up and running, and we'll have some fun stuff on there as well. And then RoyalRetros.com, we got the affiliate link in the description below. Click through that, use code Off the Wall, 10% off your purchase, save a little cash. We'll get in a cool piece of swag, cool piece of memorabilia from older defunct sports leagues. The AF1's on there and all sorts of cool stuff. So go check something out and let me know what you get from there. But enough plugging. Enough of that. Here's the interview with Mr. Quian Williams. All right, joining us on the show today, we have the 2025 IFL Triple Crown wide receiver, an All-IFL First Teamer, and a member of this year's Quad City Steamwheelers is Quian Williams. Quian, appreciate you coming on today. How are things in your world, my friend?
Man, appreciate you having me, man. Everything good. Can't complain at all.
That's awesome. Yeah, IFL season is here, starting to get into the swing of things. Before we talk indoor football, I want to learn a little bit about your personal football journey. So tell me about your journey through high school and college and what led you to the IFL.
Starting in high school, attended 2 different high schools, Putnam City North, and then transferred to Southmore for my last 2 seasons. And there I played more than just football, basketball, track.
Yeah.
Huge basketball guy, huge football guy too, but basketball was always my favorite sport. Really intended on playing basketball growing up before I would have a career in football, really. And decided to go to Eastern Michigan out of high school. Had some offers other than them, mainly for cornerback or safety. Most schools liked me on the defensive side. Eastern Michigan was one of the schools that pulled the trigger for the offensive side, so it was really just a no-brainer to go there, especially after taking my official there to there in Wyoming, just to name a couple of schools. And spent the first 3.5 years at Eastern Michigan, played there, graduated a little early, then hit the transfer portal, finished up my last 2 seasons at Buffalo out in New York. So I stayed in the MAC conference. I was blessed to have a good career. I was blessed to have a good career, a great career if you ask me. In college, not really any complaints honestly from that end either. I had a great college experience, and then had a workout with the Bills out of college. Ended up going to Canada, playing for Toronto for a little bit, initially right out of college. And then following that, went to the Barnstormers for 2 seasons. And then now I'm here. Went to the Barnstormers for 2 seasons, signed to the UFL. That relocation happened with the Showboats, and then things happened how they happened in that, and then landed here.
Yeah, what a journey it's been so far. And I want to touch on your high school experience. I was doing some research, watching some past interviews, and I was hearing all these different positions you were playing. Was there a specific moment when it started to click, like, oh, this could be a good path for me past high school?
Yeah. Um, Especially just the more exposure I started getting, if, like my junior and senior year of high school, I
Yeah.
was like, yeah. I mean, I've always believed in myself as far as just knowing I could play at the next level. But
Right.
then when I finally started getting offers, and that's all a blessing. But started getting offers, then I started seeing just how clear that dream really was, how close it really was, and just started seeing more of what it looks like as I started climbing up and just getting around other people who have done the things that I wanted to do just from a training aspect or just watching them on TV and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just the more I kept going, the more I started realizing like how tangible that dream was.
Mhm. Yeah, you mentioned being a basketball guy first, and like, how did that work? Where you're like, man, I want to play pro basketball, but then you're like, but I'm really good at this football thing. Like, what was that moment of truth where you kind of realized that?
Man, really, I started getting offers during spring ball in my junior season, or
Yeah,
my junior year of high school, and I just remember being. I mean, like I said, I played basketball. I played. We were on the Under Armour circuit um, for a little bit. OKC prime time. That was just like a pretty well known team, especially in my region where I'm from,
yeah,
Oklahoma City. And then just I remember just being in practice, and my coach was just talking to me about like all the asking me like who coming to see me at school, this and that. Uh, just on the way home because he I rode with him to practice, and I remember he was just telling me just to kind of chill like at the start of practice because I just got out of practice. I just got a spring ball practice, and
yeah,
then I just got two offers that day too. And I remember he was just talking to me. He was like, just kind of get some rest because he knew I just came out of practice, and then it was
yeah,
kind of really that day. I'm like, all right, this stuff kind of getting a little real. College coaches coming in from pretty much everywhere just because of the guys I play with too. Play with some 4 and
mhm,
5 stars in college. So I'm seeing like the Mike Norvells, the Kenny Dillinghams, the Sabins, Lincoln
yeah,
Riley's when he was just the OC at OU, Kingsbury, like Cliff Kingsbury stuff. Like I'm seeing I'm seeing some dudes coming through my school,
yeah.
and
No kidding.
I'm just like, bro, this stuff is crazy. I'm just looking around, like they know me on a first name basis.
Yep.
They calling my phone. They get, I'm getting their card infos. They're sending me mail, and I'm like, man, I'm getting a lot of traffic for this football. I mean, basketball wasn't really getting too much unless we would
Yeah.
go to like a tournament. I'll ball out. They contact my coach and stuff like that because I wasn't a senior yet, so they really couldn't do too much. But it's like at the same time, I wasn't like on rivals as a 4 star in basketball or nothing like that. Or
Right.
but it's like anything is possible because I mean, the stars really don't matter. It's matter what you do when it's game time. But I
Yeah.
would say like that year, like my junior year, springtime, my junior year was kind of when I started like seeing like what football really could do for me, just because of the type of people I was around, those rooms I was in, and just things like that.
Yeah. It was like, all right, time to go all in on football. Let's
Well, I
make this
mean,
happen.
I mean, I don't even necessarily say I went all in on football ever until I signed to go to college.
Mhm.
Because even whenever I decided where I was going, I was still in basketball season. So,
Oh,
um,
true. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, so I mean, it was just like I was still. I mean, I finished all the way out through high school with basketball, so um, I never truly went in on the sport until I got to college. Though,
yeah. Well, it can get cold in your hometown of Oklahoma City occasionally, but not
yeah,
nearly the same level as Eastern Michigan or Buffalo. Did you have any, oh dang, it's cold moments while you were playing up there?
too many to count,
Too many?
too many to count. Months on months
Yeah,
for both schools, it was just crazy up there, but it was cool. It helped me a lot because any team, Green Bay, whoever, Minnesota, whoever,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Chicago, any of them that need me, I'm battle tested in that cold weather, so
Right, yeah.
I don't mind it at all. I'm ready for whatever
Yeah, well, something you don't have to worry about weather-wise is playing indoor football.
for
What
sure.
was your introduction to the indoor football world? Did you know about it growing up at all?
Um, a little bit. I remember
Mhm.
the video games from like back in the day.
Yeah,
the AFL games, and then I remember we had a team in Oklahoma called the R Dogs in OKC.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So I remember them. I remember actually going to the camp when I was a kid. Like my whole football team went, and then I want to say I had some teammates. That's kind of like after that. I never really heard nothing about it till I got to college. I had some older teammates that had left school and they were in the IFL playing in
Mm.
it. A couple for the Barnstormers actually, and then
Oh, wow. Okay.
so that's kind of how I got introduced to it. Seeing them, and then being in college, just watching them play. Like I'll have games and stuff, and then or like it'll be spring ball. I'll be seeing them playing because it's around the time the season will start during spring ball for college, and then
Right.
after I did everything I did as far as like college CFL stuff like that, I got uh, Coach Muggs, my old coach in Iowa. He was the one that
Yeah.
had reached out to me and asked me what my plans were after that year, and then after the year after I got out of school. So he was asking what I had going on, and that's how I got into the IFL.
Okay. Yeah, that was going to be my next question. How you ended up with the Barnstormers of all teams? But it sounds like Coach Mokes had that connection with you, and it was like, yeah, let's make it
Yeah,
happen.
it was him and Coach Keith out there that was in the Bay.
Yeah.
He was actually the first one, and then Coach Muggs he ended up reaching out to me as well, and then I just felt like Iowa was the better situation for me.
Right. Yeah, going from Maction, staying in that Midwest area, it kind of makes sense. I see it. I see it. Well, I mean, tell me about your first experiences in the indoor game. Like, what were some of the biggest learning curves that you experienced?
Learning curves is probably just tempo because
Yeah.
you don't play full speed all the time. You have your times where you can, and just understanding where like so I'm a receiver, so understanding defenders' eyes, where their
Yeah.
eyes are, what they're thinking. Whenever I am running routes and just knowing how to be in the spots I'm supposed to be on time, not early, and for sure not too late. Just finding that sweet spot, and then uh, I really say the tempo is probably the biggest thing I had to learn. Playing in the CFL helped me a little bit
Yeah.
as far as the motion, the high motion, forward motion, whichever one you want to use.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that helped me a lot, just understanding where I need to be at the snap of the ball every time, and just getting that getting that down too, because that takes practice as well. Sometimes I remember I used to start off. Sometimes I'll be too far behind. Sometimes I'll be off sides, and then just finding that sweet
Right.
spot.
Yeah.
And
It's funny to.
the wall too, but yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. The
yeah,
wall gets everybody at
that's the
some
elephant
point.
in the room for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny to hear people go like with the path where they play on like a normal size field, then they go to the bigger field in the CFL, then they go to the 50-yard field of the indoor game. So you like normal, big, and then
Yeah, it's
shrinking
crazy.
the field.
It's
Yeah.
crazy for sure.
Well, you had a big first year in Iowa, followed by an even bigger one in 2025, led the league in receptions, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns. That Iowa offense was able to score a lot of points just very quickly last season. What made things click through that passing game last year?
A lot of repetition and just understanding our opponents,
Yeah,
and ultimately just being ourselves, knowing the things that we bring to the table each time, playing to our gifts.
right,
Blessed to play with some great receivers there, have great quarterbacks, and have a great coach and great offensive line too. Just it
yeah,
didn't always equate to the wins that we wanted, but it
right,
worked. It worked as far as the things that we wanted to accomplish. We could do those on a night to night basis based off of just the chemistry we had, and man, really like our coach and quarterback were two big pieces in that.
yeah,
Especially last year, James Cahoon was who we finished with, but had Joaquin Collazo that's out in San Antonio too.
yeah, yeah,
We had a huge first game. I remember against Green Bay, huge first game. He started just things just started clicking for him each game that he's played in this league, and he's going to do great in San Antonio. James is going to do great in Jacksonville.
yeah.
I was blessed to play with some great players, receiver wise as well too.
Yeah, it helps when you're passing the ball every single play too. I
That
think
too.
Iowa ran the ball like 20 times all year,
Yeah, a lot of
so
those
that
times
helps.
we had some running backs, we had some injuries happen,
Yeah,
and ultimately it just resulted in us in just using our receivers as part of the run game as well. I know
yeah,
uh, pretty much all of us had some rushing touchdowns too last year.
yeah,
But we had an offense where it was it was predictable in a way where you knew, okay, we're gonna throw the ball, but who's gonna get the ball? Where is the ball gonna be at? Stuff like that. It was just
Yeah.
it was definitely offense that kept you on your toes, but it was pretty simple for a receiver. So it was receiver friendly for sure.
Yeah, especially when you guys were running like empty a lot, where it was like four wide receivers set
Yeah,
out wide. It was like the field is not that big, but you're still finding a way to spread defenses out. And it was just like,
no, for
man, you're
sure.
damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
No, for sure. Definitely spreading teams out vertically and horizontally.
Yeah, yeah.
It was crazy.
Well, from a team standpoint, you mentioned didn't necessarily equate to the wins that you probably would have wanted, but how do you navigate that in a situation where, like, offensively, you guys are doing what you need to do, but maybe the opposite side of the ball is struggling a little bit? Like, how do you balance, being the good teammate, but also being like, guys, let's win some games here?
Just doing your part, doing what you can, and not going outside of yourself trying to do someone else's job, whether that's actually trying to. Obviously, we play offense, so we're not playing defense. So the next step
Right.
is um, talking, saying the wrong things to them in the wrong way. That's something big that was very something we were intentional about. Just picking guys up, not tearing them down, but not pushing them back down while they're already down. Uh,
Right.
Doing what we can offensively. Maybe we need to score slower. Maybe we need to just manage the clock a little differently. You know what I'm saying? Stuff
Mm,
like that. But
yeah.
hindsight is 2020. You don't really know it in the moment always, and you wish you did. But I would say we could have done things differently that could have helped our team out. Maybe we just needed to score it. Like maybe we could have scored every possession because we weren't perfect, and that's
Yeah.
hard to ask. That's hard to ask for a team to score every possession. At the very least, get field goals. But we've had drop balls. We had dropped touchdowns. We've had missed opportunities, wrong routes ran, wrong
Hmm.
formations, things like that. So it's not all on the defense at all.
Yeah.
I was a returner. I could have set our team up better in the return game where maybe we didn't have those possessions where we found ourselves in third and long, fourth and long situations where we had to kick a field goal. Maybe we missed a field goal in result of that. Maybe if we were
Right.
10 yards up the field, maybe that's another minute or two off the clock. Now we have an easier field goal. Defense can get some more rest instead of us scoring right then and there, or we just didn't score at all and now they're back on the field. Asking them
Yeah.
we're putting them in tough situations as well. So it's definitely not all on the defense. It's a complimentary game if you do it right. So it was things that we could have done that could have helped them out as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's funny to hear, like, scoring on one play sometimes isn't a good thing.
Right,
Like your point, like you said, like your defense was out there for a 9-play drive. They need a break. You score in one play, they're immediately out there. You
right.
might want to pump the brakes just a little bit.
For
Just
sure. Yeah, it's definitely ways to go about it. Sometimes you do it like that. And ultimately, this game just taught me how to adapt and just handle adversity
yeah,
and how to respond to it. But it was, like I said, it's a complimentary game too when it's done right. So
one
that's
hundred
something
percent.
that we probably could have done better.
Well, you mentioned kick returning. Big impact in the IFL so far in the kick return game. What's the secret sauce to being so impactful in the return game in the IFL with such a small field?
Um, I got an answer for y'all. I ain't really gonna say too much on camera, but for the
Yeah.
but for the viewers, I would say just being fearless. Running first. Obviously, you got to run, read, and react. That's all. You got
Yeah.
to do it all at once, and you just got to have fun with it. Really, I feel like kick return is the best part of football. It's not
Yeah.
scripted. You know where you want to hit it. You know you want to go on the field, but at the end of the day, you just got to play ball. They just take you back to when you were a kid playing in the parking lot, playing in the fields, wherever you playing on the street,
Right.
wherever you playing at with your friends. Uh, just going to get it and just like you can't be scared at all. At all. You see
Right.
it,
Yeah.
you gotta trust you. You gotta trust everything. You gotta trust more than just yourself. You gotta trust your teammates for taking care of their blocks and you just gotta do your job.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, and it helps when you have some dudes on the blocking team in front of you that can clear a path. It's like all I had to do was run straight and I was good.
Sometimes it surprises you.
Yeah. It's like I'm used to having to make a cut. I'm just running and I'm
Mhm.
good. Like, all right, cool. All
Yeah,
right.
you really can't cut too much on that kickoff. You just gotta see it and trust it, go get it. You'll probably break an arm tackle or two if you're just hitting it full speed.
Yeah.
And after you hit that, after you run it for about 15, 20 yards, you pretty much might got the kicker. You might got one more person to beat. Now you just gotta. That's about how bad you're doing it right there.
When you're in those situations where it's just the kicker to beat, are you putting a little added pressure on yourself? Like, I cannot let the kicker take me down. Like, this can't happen.
I'm honestly looking to stiff arm the kicker real
Yeah.
hard. That's something I really want to do, but sometimes, or I'll just get their hips going one way and go the other way just to
Yeah.
make it easier for the both of us. But if I ever catch them right up on me, I kind of just want to give them a little stiff arm just I don't know, just so they
Just plant them into the ground. Yeah.
I mean, that would be great, but some of them boys kind of big too, so they
Yeah.
look good too, so it's a little harder said than done. But
Yeah.
it's all fun at the end of the day. I just like having fun.
100%. Yeah. Well, I'll be looking for that on some kick returns this year. We'll see if the stiff arm makes an appearance.
Got to get one in. I got one.
Yeah. Well, after that stellar season last year, you mentioned signing with the Memphis Showboats right after the season. Things kind of detonated with the team. They relocated, shook things up. How did things kind of go down from your perspective, and how did all that transpire?
It was just like I said, football has taught me how to adapt. It was one of those situations where I'm like, all right, this is what I'm faced with. What I'm gonna do? Am I going to sit around, or am I just gonna keep going? It was
right.
Obviously that's not news that anybody wants to hear, especially when you see what you've done in the past and just how hard it is to be in the IFL, because the IFL is a great league with a lot of dudes.
Oh yeah.
NFL talent on every roster, whether they were already there or somebody that will be there, and however they got to work up. I mean, there's a lot of people have went to the league from here, have been in the league from here, all that, but just kind of reflecting and seeing how hard it was, kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth about certain things after stuff like that happens. But
yeah,
all you can do is just keep going. I mean, you can keep going, or you can just sit and just finger point, all this other stuff, say whatever somebody will say in those situations. But
right.
I think the best thing is just being positive and just being thankful that opportunities are still around, just like this one. Shout out Coach Ross and the whole organization. But nothing's given at all, so it's just a blessing, really. Just understanding that you're blessed, and that really helps you, or helps me at least, helps me keep going.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of Coach Ross, this opportunity in Quad City, how did that come about this offseason?
Man, honestly, it happened like a week before camp, if that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, a week before camp, me and Malik Duncan, me and him we have a good relationship. Really, it was over video games. We're just playing video games, really.
Yeah.
That's what I had going on, because like nothing had been announced. I really don't say too much about what I'm doing beforehand or anything like that. It's never really just been me. And he asked me what I had going on, told him, and then got me on the phone with Coach Ross that night. We talked for 2-3 hours.
Wow.
Talked for 2-3 hours, had a great conversation, and then just ultimately made the decision that this is where that we were gonna go make it happen. Probably a few days later, and then got to camp. I want to say the day before. We got out to Quad the day before camp started, and all that happened within like a week.
Wow! So it all fell into place very quickly.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, we just had some great conversations. Everything aligned for the both of us, for all parties, organization, individuals, things like that. And it was like, let's do it.
It's funny to hear Malik Duncan was the catalyst there. That seems to be a common theme. I have a lot of conversations with folks, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I chatted with Malik Duncan." I'm like, "Of course he's."
Nah, he a great recruiter. He know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, he not saying nothing. He's not trying to sell you anything other than what the real is, and you got to respect it.
Yeah, because I mean, he's there too. Like, he wouldn't be there if he didn't believe in it, right? So.
Right.
Well, this Quad City team looking good for the season ahead. What's it like teaming up with some of these players that you've battled with over these past couple of years, Malik Duncan included? Looking at Kevin Ransom in the secondary, like, what's it like sharing the locker room with some guys who are like, we've battled 4 or 5 times over the past 2 years.
Right. Dunk for one. I'm glad I'm on his team. Just he's a presence on the field himself. So
Yeah,
it's good to be on the same side as him. We can bounce ideas off each other and just pick each other's brain. And he can help me, I can help him, and we helping each other. That's gonna help the team. And same with Kevin
yeah,
Ransom. We got to spend a lot of time with each other during camp. We were before we all got like moved into our apartments out here. We were me and him were actually in the same hotel room for that first week of us
wow,
being out here,
okay,
and we've already I was playing against each other about 4 to 5 times, maybe a little bit, probably at least 4 or 5 times.
yeah,
Um, Me and him just having that relationship just from just respect on the field with each other really really was different whenever it came to us being here. But it helped us a lot just because we competed a lot against each other. Now we can compete with each other, practice, and then we can bring all that to the game too. Um,
right.
Iron sharpening iron. It's been great playing with those two boys specifically, and just everybody. It was it's been pretty good. I love the group that we put together, and then now it's just the time is going to tell how great we can be because we have the pieces.
Yeah, yeah, and it's got to feel good not getting jammed at the line by Malik Duncan.
Yeah, it
You,
feels great.
you get to watch other people do that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely feel great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a scale of 1 to 10, how awesome is it catching a touchdown and hearing the home crowd go crazy? Because there was one in particular this past weekend where the crowd went nuts. I'm like, oh, what a feeling that's got to be.
It's great for sure.
Yeah.
Love is the strongest thing ever. So just hearing that and feeling that love, seeing
Yeah.
the emotions that me just catching the ball that I've been catching my whole life, just and scoring a touchdown, it was just like all that stuff happening with the home crowd behind you that's just genuinely cheering for you. And then after you
Right.
just look in the crowd, I see people with my jersey on and stuff, and I'm like, it's crazy. Like it's just
That's pretty
it never
sweet. Yeah.
it never gets old. It never does. It's like I said, it's a blessing.
Yeah. It makes all that work worth it. Right.
Definitely. Even
Well,
though
you've been,
everybody doesn't see the work behind the scenes, but they get to
yeah.
see it all come to play. So
Yeah.
it just feels good.
Yeah, well, you've been transitioning into a veteran player in this league. Is there a mentality switch when you're like, all right, I'm no longer a rookie here. I'm kind of mentoring some folks, or is it like do you try to stick to the same mindset that's made you successful so far?
Mindset always just been have fun with it, but go dominate.
Yeah,
So that was when I was a rookie up to now, like when I was in high school to now, middle school, elementary school. I always had that mindset just to go be better than everybody. And people can take that how they want to take it, but
yeah,
you got to take it at the end of the day
right,
because that's how I'm coming every single time. And it's just like it never, like I said about the home crowd, it just never gets old. I know that I'm blessed. I know that none of this is by accident. Um, I've been, I have a purpose, and I just love doing it for those that aren't able to do it, whether physical capabilities, mental, gender, whatever the case may be.
yeah,
But
yeah,
opportunity, so all that really is in my mind when I go out there. On top of me just going out there to be better than everybody else on the field and having fun because it's a game. You always want to have fun with any game that you play. So
right.
like I'm 27, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like I'm 7 playing football, like just having fun.
Playing some schoolyard ball out there with your friends.
For sure, most definitely.
Well, this has been great. I appreciate you hopping on here. We'll throw all your socials on in the description, so everyone watching here, go give Keon a follow. Great season ahead in 2026. To wrap things up here, what are you looking forward to the most with this Steamwheeler squad?
Just taking things one day at a time, just putting out the best product that we can each and every day. And it starts with us, and then just by the time game time comes, just uh, each, like I said, just going 1-0 each day and win after win after win after win, however many it takes to get the job done.
That's right. Well, I'm excited to see the season ahead. Like I said, appreciate you hopping on here, and best of luck the rest of the way. Okay.
Appreciate you.
Big thanks again to Keon for joining the program and talking through his football journey. I had a chance to chat with him for a little bit at the week one Fishers Quad City game, and he's a delight. He's a really great guy, and I'm happy to see his continued success in the IFL and hoping he gets that opportunity back outdoors sooner than later because we've seen what he can do in this indoor game, and I'm excited to see what he can do once he gets the opportunity back outdoors. So big shout out to Keon. Make sure you give him a follow on the socials. So before we dive into IFL and NAL results, we're going to be a little bit abbreviated here because I literally have to go catch a flight to Arizona because we're going to the Arizona Rattlers game on Saturday and then the Tucson Sugar Skulls game on Sunday. So we'll get a little doubleheader, boots on the ground action this weekend in Arizona. So make sure you're following along on socials. But because of that, we're going to go through these a little bit quicker than we usually do. Won't spend as much time dissecting. If you want a deeper dive, go check out In the Alley with Cody. He'll dive into each of these games and provide a lot of great insight. But I'm just going to give you some quick hits on the weekend that was. Starting in the IFL, we've got the Iowa Barnstormers making their debut against the Quad City Steamwheelers, and Quad City won this game 46-25. So Quad City was on one end of a double-digit blowout last week. They're on the better end of it this week in their home opener against Iowa, and this was a good get right game for Quad City, and they needed it. After that week one where they got shut out for 24 minutes in the second half. Daquan Neal, another 4-touchdown game through the air. And what we talked about last week was running back Jared Ware needing to be more involved. I thought they were going to do it through the running game, but they did it through the passing game, and they were able to really feed him and get him going in some open field. So it was awesome to see Jared Ware get in the mix, and he had a nasty touchdown. He juked a DB out of his shoes, out of his socks, out of his everything. So go check that one out on socials if you haven't already. And Quad City's defense had a good get right game against our rookie quarterback over on Iowa. And Harry Robideau, it's going to be a fun name to say all year for Iowa. He's basically a rookie making his IFL debut, and it was a rough start. He had some good throws. He had some good moments where it was like, all right, we got something here. But he also had some rookie moments where I was like, well, it's his first start. Like, what did you expect? So I think Iowa has a handful of exciting young pieces that will be worth monitoring and will make this Barnstormers team a lot more competitive than they were last year on defense as well as on offense. This defensively, Iowa played pretty well in this one, all things considered, especially when you look back at the 2025 season that was. Wide receiver Curtis Ravenel, he's going to be really, really good for this Iowa team if he can stay healthy and stay on the field. And then running back, I'm going to butcher this name. I've tried sounding it out. It's a tough one. Najee Bryant Lally. I think I actually nailed it. So kudos to me. He's going to be dynamic the more that they get him in the mix for this Iowa running game and dishing it out through the pass. But Iowa's got some promise. They have a lot of young players. It's going to take some time for them to get where they want to be. But going over to Green Bay, staying in the Eastern Conference here, Fisher's Freight went to Green Bay. There's a battle of the 1-0s from week one, and Green Bay won this game 51-42. Liam Thompson, I had my doubts last week. I was like, I need to see some deep ball action, and he delivered in this game. He was unbelievable. I think he had 7 total touchdowns, 3 through the air, 4 on the ground, and he was making big time throw after big time throw when they needed it from him. He was shifty in the scrambling and in the running game. He was just doing all the right things on the ground and through the air. Completion percentage wise wasn't great, but they didn't need that to be great given how this game was going and the big runs that he was able to break out and really pick apart this Fishers offense. And Drayshawn Hudson bringing in 2 touchdowns through the air, and then Isaac Ross securing another as well. So this Green Bay defense started out hot again for a second straight week and really put this Fishers offense in a bit of a blender early on. And Fishers was able to fight back, and they're proving that they're a great second half team, and they can make adjustments at halftime. And when they make those adjustments, they are an unbelievable squad. They were down by 26 at one point, and they brought this to a 5-point game. And you can make a case they were 1 throw away from taking the lead late in this one and completing an unbelievable comeback in Green Bay. But Fishers, they just started off very slow, and it was something where they might have been feeling themselves a little too much. And it was something where it's like, guys, you got to play a full 4 quarters. If they can get a full 4 quarters of Fisher's Freight football, that's a tongue twister. Try saying that real quick. A full 4 quarters of Fisher Freight football. One more time. I got it. A full 4 quarters of Fisher's Freight football. Nailed it. This team can compete with anybody in the league. Unfortunately, in this one, they only got about 2.5 quarters of it, and they just started too slow. And they again made a hell of a comeback to make it a game, but just ultimately couldn't finish. Then heading over to Albuquerque, New Mexico, we saw the season debuts of the Orlando Pirates and the New Mexico Chupacabras, two of the more fun brands in all of indoor football. Orlando won this game 41-38, so a little bit closer than I feel like a lot of folks, myself included, thought this was going to be. And credit to New Mexico for coming out swinging. I had a lot of questions about the roster. I just wasn't sure where the productivity was going to come from. But Jerome Johnson, from the very first play, busted out a 20-yard run on a quarterback draw to really set the stage for what was about to come for this New Mexico team. He got it done through the air, throwing 4 touchdown passes, including a crazy one late in the game where he was rolling left and was getting brought down and then kind of threw it over his shoulder, and his guy was there in the end zone to catch it. Great highlight. It's on Off the Walls Instagram if you want to go check that out on there. But Isaiah Crocker at wide receiver looked great. Demont Street looked great as well. They were able to get multiple pieces involved in the offense, and that was one of my fears heading into this game. I was like, okay, they've got Jerome. That's great. Former IFL MVP. The pieces around him, what's that going to look like? And they were a pretty cohesive unit, all things considered. The defense played pretty well in this one too. So this New Mexico team is going to be feisty. I just feel like ultimately Orlando had a lot of skill at their on defense and at the skill positions on offense that was just a little bit too much for New Mexico to overcome. And New Mexico kind of they got a little conservative towards the end. The field goal game wasn't working out for them. I think they banked one off the upright and was wide right on one, and then they attempted one at the end to tie it instead of going for the lead. It just feels like if they were a little more aggressive, they could have put Orlando on the ropes and had a chance to win. But for Orlando, this was an interesting one because presumed starter Talia Tagovailoa was signed to the UFL 48 hours before this game was set to kick off. So Paxton DeLaurent made his IFL debut on the road in Albuquerque on 48 hours notice. But luckily for him, he has a dynamic group of skill position players. Running back Quian Williams had 4 touchdowns in this one. Nyquan Murray, Thomas Owens, Teo Redding, they were all getting in the mix. And if this was day one for this offense with first-time IFL starter Paxton DeLaurent at the helm, the way they were trying to use him, the way they were getting him in the mix, this offense could be very, very good. And this feels like this defense is going to get their act together and get things cleaned up and dialed up. Latavius Brini is a madman on defense. So he's a very fun one to check out. But they've got some stuff to clean up, and they're going to have to get it cleaned up soon because in 2 weeks they have their home debut against the Quad City Steamwheelers. So that's going to be a heck of a clash between two teams that have their eyes set on a lofty prize in the Eastern Conference Championship. But the last game of the week was Northern Arizona Wranglers taking on the San Diego Strike Force, and San Diego won this game 42-40. A bit of a nail biter here. This came all the way down to the wire where Northern Arizona scored with 8 seconds, I want to say. 8 seconds left on the clock, had a chance to tie it up for 2 with a 2-point conversion. Got it, but there was an offensive pass interference. Pushed them back again, and they just couldn't get it done. Manny Higuera had a chance to hit a deuce, but was just wide right on it, and San Diego was able to hold on for the win in their home opener. But Ed Vander, I love Ed Vander. If you follow on socials, you see me posting hashtag #FeedVander, FeedVander, FeedVander all the time. Anytime he scores, he's just a dynamic runner with the football, and he had 3 first-half touchdowns in this game that really set the tone. And when you have a quarterback like Nate Davis, and then you have a running back that's able to run for 9.5 yards a carry in the first half with 3 first-half rushing touchdowns, that's setting yourself up for success throughout the season, not just within this game. But San Diego really leaned into Ed Vander early on, and that was able to open some things up in the passing game. Jalen Sample hauled in 2 touchdowns from Nate Davis, including one in the fourth quarter that was awesome and in the clutch that they needed. badly, but so far it looks like this offense is living and breathing with Ed Vander. Um, Week one for the San Diego Strike Force, some mishaps, some slip ups, some jitters that they're working through. But they look great in the first half, and they kind of came undone a little bit in the second half of their opener. And it's honestly reminiscent of what happened in last year's opener. I believe it was their home opener, might have been their season opener against Vegas, where they were up on Vegas and they just let Vegas back in the game. So it was kind of reminiscent of that. And this got very dramatic at the end, where I was like, oh, San Diego might drop this game in which they were 8.5 point favorites. So they got a lot of stuff to clean up as they have Arizona on the horizon next weekend, which we'll be in attendance for. So excited to see some of the guys on both of those squads. But for Northern Arizona, last year they had a lot of question marks at the quarterback position. They were trying to make it work with a couple of rookies. And it wasn't until Ramon Atkins Frazier came in the picture about halfway through the season that they started to get an identity on offense. And luckily for them, they have their QB1 from week one this year. Atkins Frazier looked really, really good in this one. All things considered, he had some slip ups, he had some throws that ended up being interceptions. One or two of them, I'm not putting on him. There was one that deflected off of a player's helmet 50 feet, not 50, 15 feet in the air, and the DB came down with it. But this offense lives and breathes with Ramon Atkins Frazier, both through the air and on the ground. The Wranglers, they start off with, on a much better foot this go around than they did last year. Kobe Smith at wide receiver had some impressive catches before going out with an injury, so his stats moving forward is going to be one to monitor because he was pretty dynamic. He had 2 back-to-back catches that were really impressive, but took a shot to the wall that may have resulted in some upper body injuries or a head injury of some sort. Not to speculate, but it just looked rough, and it looked like he took quite a blow to the head there. But he can be a big time contributor on this offense if he can stay on the field and stay healthy. But this Northern Arizona team is another one like Iowa that's super, super young. They said on the broadcast they have 1 veteran on offense, like 1 league classified veteran on offense and 1 league classified veteran on defense. So it's going to take some time for this group to kind of get a feel for the game and to just fully embrace what the indoor game is all about. But once they get going, look out. This Northern Arizona team could be one of those teams that sneaks into the playoffs. And if history is any indication, all you need to do is make the dance and you can make some noise. Heading over to the NAL now, the biggest storyline coming out of the NAL was the Omaha Beef going to Salina, Kansas to face the Salina Liberty and getting absolutely smacked. Salina won this game 60-22, and you can make a case it wasn't even that close based on how that game played out. For Omaha, quarterback Demery Croft had some question marks about him leading into the season. Is he the guy? Should he be the guy? And in this game, he really struggled from the beginning, and Omaha had to pull the plug almost immediately. He had 2 pick sixes thrown within 5 when they started their drive within 5 yards of the goal line. So D lineman dropped back into coverage. He threw it right to the D lineman each time they ran it in. They could have crawled into the end zone and they would have been fine. But they ended up yanking Demery out of the game, but they didn't have any other quarterbacks. So what they ended up doing was putting running back Tobias Taylor, who retired last year, has had a couple different stints with the Omaha Beef, signed this week, had no reps at quarterback. They put him in at quarterback just to do something, and he looked pretty good, all things considered. Had a rushing touchdown this one, and he had 2 passing touchdowns that were 20, 25-yard plus. One to Devonair Conliffe, and I think one, I'm blanking on the name of the other one. Throw it in the chat, throw it in the comments. I'm going to be kicking myself. I can't remember the name of the second one, but they were impressive throws by Tobias Taylor. And you almost think like if they have Tobias Taylor running Wildcat on this offense from the beginning, this is probably a much closer game. So what they do at the quarterback position is going to be extremely interesting these upcoming weeks. Do they just try to coach up Demery Croft, limit him a little bit in the passing game and become more of a running team? Do you put Tobias Taylor in at quarterback from the beginning next week? I don't know. But Salina was just having their way with this Omaha team. Pulling up the stats here, Evan Lewandowski at quarterback for Salina. 11 for 15, 75 yards, and 3 passing touchdowns. They didn't have to do a ton in this game just because they blinked and they were up 19-0 in the first quarter. And you just got the feeling that Omaha was just they were just running in quicksand and they were sinking quickly. So they were Salina was able to run the ball a lot to the tune of 27 attempts for doing some quick math here, 120 plus yards, 130 yards, with 4 touchdowns on the ground. Tracy Brooks, 13 carries for 60 yards. And yeah, Salina, they didn't have to reinvent the wheel. They really didn't have to do a ton. Evan Lewandowski added 2 touchdowns on the ground as well. So he's proven to be quite the dual threat quarterback after spending some time over in Europe playing there. And yeah, this Salina team was very impressive against an Omaha team that is just searching for any and all answers at this point. And they're literally playing players out of position to find a spark, to find something. So keep an eye out on the transaction wire for the Omaha Beef to see, do we see them dust off old Tommy Armstrong yet again coming out of retirement? Lorenzo Brown is over in Sioux City. He's not going to be the answer. Like, where do they go from here? Who do they turn to if Demery Croft isn't the answer? A lot of questions in Omaha. That's just a fascinating situation that's developing. But Salina, big time win in their NAL debut after spending a couple seasons playing arena football rules. Big win for the Salina Liberty. And then heading over to Pueblo, Colorado, the Pueblo Punishers hosted the Dallas Bulls, and Pueblo won this game 49-19. Pueblo was in full control of this game from the beginning to the end. It felt like they could have piled on a little bit more at the beginning of this one, but Josh Hollins at quarterback had a really strong game here, 202 passing yards and 5 touchdowns, a couple of interceptions, a couple of turnovers that were that were avoidable, and honestly gave Dallas a pulse. I think he had a fumble in the end zone at the very, very end of the game with like 2 or 3 minutes left that gave Dallas 6 extra points. So this Dallas team really realistically only scored 13, but that's neither here nor there. Aaron Dilworth had a really great game in this one, 2 catches, 37 yards, and 2 touchdowns, as efficient as it gets. He had a really, really good one where he scored a touchdown, went up, high pointed it, got it, then pulled a Sharpie out of his sock and signed the ball and threw it in the crowd. It was like, all right, Terrell Owens, I see you. But Patrick McSweeney, 6 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown. And they were able to spread the ball out on this Pueblo passing attack. And Josh Hollins is impressing this season. Had some questions going in, like, is he the guy? But Clint Solomon's doing a great job calling this offense and really leaning into the strengths of this team. And they couldn't really get a lot going on the ground, even though Joel Shaw was able to score twice to punch it in on short yardage situations. They couldn't get a lot going yardage-wise, but they were really able to open it up passing-wise. So we see what they've been able to do. Week 1, they ran the ball and got the ball in Joel Shaw's hands. Week 2, they were able to get it done on defense and offense. And then this week 3 game with the Dallas Bulls, they were really able to open it up through the air. So they've proven that they're not a one-trick pony. There's multiple ways this Pueblo team can win, and that's usually the sign of a team that can make a run in these arena leagues and can really get after you. And Beaumont was the same way in the NAL last year, and they were the eventual champions. So Pueblo 3-0 to start the season, and they just look so impressive. And like I said, there's just so many different ways they can attack you. But for Dallas, it's going to be a long year. It's going to be a long year of growth. I think people look at the box score of that first preseason game versus Team Mexico, where they won 101-0. That was zero indication of how good or bad this Dallas Bulls team is. That was a travesty. We'll just call it, of a game where it looked like Team Mexico had never played organized football before. So this Dallas team, when they're playing actual competition in the NAL, they're just struggling. And this game is no exception to that. Quarterback Samuel Seward had 3 interceptions in this game that really gave Pueblo a ton of momentum. Couldn't really get a ton going in the passing game. 9 for 28, 79 yards and a passing touchdown. They were trying all sorts of stuff on the rushing front to try to get some things going, but this Pueblo defense was swarming and putting it to a halt. So only giving up 13 points on defense because the fumble in the end zone at the end of the fourth quarter. Pretty good, all things considered. So Pueblo's getting it done on both sides of the ball. Dallas is really struggling to find answers, and maybe they get a. I don't know. Well, I don't know where they get a win on their schedule. Maybe against Omaha. That would be funny if they play Omaha and get a win against Omaha. Doubt it. But yeah, Pueblo looking really, really good, 3-0. Dallas looking for answers and looking for their first NAL win. And that's the show. Thank you so much for taking the time to check it out this week. Very fun weekend of football behind us and a very fun one ahead of us as well. Shout out to Quian Williams for joining the program and talking through his football journey. If you're in Arizona, if you're going to the Rattlers game on Saturday or the Tucson Sugar Skulls game on Sunday, come say hi. Come get a free sticker from me. I'll have a bunch of stickers there. And yeah, I look forward to meeting some folks and chopping it up with the people. So again, follow us on socials if you don't already, at Off the Wall FB across all the socials, offthewallfb.com, Royal Retros, all that stuff is in the description. Go give Quian a follow as well on socials. Let him know that you heard him on Off the Wall. And yeah, there's only 24 hours in a day. The fact that you chose to spend about 45 to 50 minutes listening to the show, listening to me rush through some of the scores so I could catch this flight to Arizona means a lot. So really appreciate you taking the time to do so. We're only getting started. We've got the AF1 training camp starting. We're entering into the meat of IFL, where we're going to see every team playing in the IFL very, very soon. NAL is starting to hit their stride as well. So it's a very fun time to be an arena and indoor football fan. And look forward to seeing y'all on socials and engaging with y'all and hearing those hot takes and cold takes and everything in between. So thank you for checking it out. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the support so far. Come join the conversation on socials, and we'll see you next time. And if you're in Arizona, I'll see you in a couple days. Take care.